Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Buckle up and get ready for the time of your life. Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton. With me as always is Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Chris Zaleski.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Fine.
Yeah, cool. Good. Like all of us.
How are you?
I'm fine, also.
Good.
I say fine, but it's, I'm like angrier about it. I'm like less exhausted, but more.
I'm just resigned.
Yeah, you're like fine, and I'm like fine.
I'm fighting the urge
day.
every day to say, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I feel like if I start responding to strangers with that, like, I don't think I'm going to be here much longer if I give up that much tact.
Our special guest today is my brother, Jason Eaton.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome back to the show. You've been on the show before, but it's been a while.
Yes, it's been a moment.
I don't remember what we read when you
I
were
was
on.
just going to ask.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was a girl and there was a guy and he was like, I don't know, an alien. It was like Fear Street or Scary Town or some shit.
It was probably Fear Street then. I think it was Fear Street. It's not Fear Street today though.
Scary Town.
I'm gonna
Spooky
do the thing that I always say I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna skip through our like banter because we usually talk for like 20 minutes before we start reading something. And Jason, we know your history with books. We talked about it before, and I know you've never read any of these books.
No.
I was going to ask that at least because I don't remember. So Animorphs was
too
young for
definitely after
you.
my time.
It was after his time.
Yeah, when Animorphs was out, like that was like also the Babysitters Club era, if I recall correctly. Like just younger people's shit.
Yeah.
I was like reading Starlog magazine and being super cool.
The fun thing that we started doing is that when we start a new book, whoever our guest is, when we start the new book, gets to pick the book.
I have the conch. Ooh.
Yeah. So here's what I'm doing.
You only get to choose from Animorphs, but you get to choose the Animorph.
The cat one.
And okay.
Cat.
That's probably going to be your final answer, but just to let you know, the covers are very misleading because you think like, oh, this whole book's going to be about this kid that turns into a cat. But there's going to be like 20 other characters that all turn into shit. They all can turn into multiple things.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be about a cat. It's just that at one point someone's going to turn into a cat and then like 50 other kids are going to turn into 50 other things.
Yes.
Just to let you know.
And the kid who turns into a cat will turn into like other shit throughout the book. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you just said that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll see you in court. All right.
It's not just these four. I'm going to scroll slowly and you can take a look at the titles and the covers.
I'm going to be sick.
Zoom in a little.
Oh, I can zoom in. Nice.
Ooh. All right.
Okay.
So you can see the covers. It's hard. I think he's turning into a fly there.
Yeah.
Here's a closer look at the cat.
Yeah, cat.
This is an alien race in the book that's turning into a cow.
Like a blue centaur insect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, what is happening
that's like
here?
an owl. That guy's turning into an owl, I think, maybe.
That might
Looks
be
like
the
a
first
falcon.
one, maybe.
Falcon. The encounter. Oh, that guy's turning into a spider.
Nah.
He's already in like a spider pose.
That's another
When
bird.
the spidering happened. There's another bird.
Oh, there's a dolphin.
Ugh, dolphins.
And then the middle part of the transformation is always the wildest.
Oh, it's a fucking nightmare.
Most disgusting. Like,
Have you seen the meme where it's like would hit it, and then like
of the Animorphs?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like some girl turning into a rat, and it's like would hit it.
That's amazing.
Like, maybe.
Oh my God, I have not seen that.
Holy
I'll
shit.
try to find it. It's
We got a bear. We got a
no.
Is that a dog?
crocodile.
Let's do the cat.
All right.
Okay.
Not about cats.
Okay.
It's gonna be about like Republicans or some shit, right?
We are going to read Animorphs, The Visitor.
Which I believe is.
Jason, do you know the basic premise?
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Do we?
Like, people turn into animal. No, you know what?
That's
know
a trick question.
the
There's not a
most basic.
basic premise.
Nope.
I just want to take this cover in before
I want to
you.
go in full. Look at that beautiful cat. Yeah, see, I made it all the way practically to the end.
Did someone put a picture of their own cat on top of the cat in the book?
Get the fuck
out.
And then it got
Is that
scanned
what's
in that
happening
way?
Kind of looks like it.
Okay, so the thing I love about this website is that they're scans of books, but they're like straight up photo scans. So like, so
Take a picture.
whatever the cover of this book looked like when the person scanned it. I think
like-
you're right.
Fucking gone through hell and back.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got like 2 different ears.
Oh my God! Look at the middle one. That one right there.
Yeah.
This one.
That's an
With
abomination.
those dead eyes. She's got like a
So-
cleft palate.
It's the Stephen King movie, Sleepwalkers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so Animorphs, the visitor. No one knows who they are. Is the
Nightbreed.
tagline?
Do you remember the movie Nightbreed? No? No one?
No, I don't remember that. I know of it.
Oh wait, look, it's not. Someone didn't put a picture of their cat. It's a cutout. Becca, look. So that's the other side.
Oh.
It's a cutout of the cat, and then it.
Why?
Oh, look, it's a little kitty.
Oh.
So it's one of those covers that you open up and you're like, oh, that's weird.
It's a die cut reveal.
Oh,
were
so
all
they
the
were
rage
trying
at
to
the
give us
time.
the full effect of.
I
I'm
guess.
still confused why it's on the cover.
Because we're looking through to this next page.
Where it
Oh.
shows the
Little-
cat's
That's
luxurious
genius.
coat.
Because how else you gonna reel in them that dough at the Scholastic book fair?
It's a little
Right.
window to a cat. Oh my God. Oh shit! Look,
Oh.
97 to 2004. Nice.
we're looking
Wow.
at a.
Wow. That was.
That book is
2004 was when I graduated high school. This is
is-
probably me.
Let's see. Medellin
Oriole.
Falls, Washington.
Oriel County Library District. This is we're looking at one of those old school library not card. What do you call these things?
Yeah, library
The-
card.
yeah.
No, library
it's
card's
called?
what you
The
have
date
to
thing.
Or-
In the,
oh,
books.
the
little checkout thing.
yeah.
Frontispiece piece.
This is only the second book. I was just looking that up. This is the
What?
second book in the entire
Wow.
series.
Okay, awesome. So okay.
Maybe it'll make more sense.
For the listeners and also for Jason, we have only read Animorphs on this show once before. We picked a random book. It turned out to be like number 46 or something like that. And I honestly don't think if we had read 45 of them up to that point, it would have
It
made more
was
sense.
a ride.
There
was
were
a
like
bit of
little
Fantastic
tiny
Voyage.
aliens. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very Fantastic Voyage.
They went inside
inner
someone's
space.
body. Yeah.
They turned into sharks in someone's bloodstream.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Like you do.
Okay. And let's go ahead and start. So, Jason, if you remember the way we do this, we each read a page, and it'll start me, Becca, Chris, and then you, so you can get a feel for the rhythm. This one's for Michael.
Aw.
Poor
So-
Michael.
Do you say for Michael or poor Michael?
I said poor Michael. Do you think he read it and was just like, seriously, Aunt Catherine? This is what you dedicate to me? This wasn't nearly as good as book 1.
Chapter 1.
Oh God. No, not that. I dropped my coaster.
Okay.
I wasn't
It's
scared
like, it's
about
not that
chapter
crazy
1.
yet. Chapter 1. My name is Rachel. I won't tell you my last name. None of us will ever tell you our last names. We're in the witness protection
Oh
program.
my God.
Whenever I do use a last name, it's a fake. Sorry, but that's the way it has to be. And we won't tell you the name of our town or our school or even what state we are in. If I told you my last name, the Yeerks would be able to find my friends and me. And if they ever find us, it will be the end. They might kill us, or worse. Yes, there really is something worse than death. I've seen it. I've heard the cries of despair from those doomed to be slaves of the Yeerks. I have watched as the evil gray slugs writhe and squeeze in through the ear and take over what was a free human being.
Oh my God.
Book for children.
Immediately, it's a fucking David Cronenberg nightmare.
There are 5 of us. Just 5. Jake, Cassie, Marco, Tobias, and me. Marco came up with a name for us, for what we are now. He called us Animorphs. I guess that's as good a name as any for what we are. Mostly I still just feel like a normal kid, you know? But I guess normal kids don't turn into elephants or bald eagles. And normal kids don't spend their free time fighting to save the world from the nightmare called Yeerks. Yeerks is not easy to say. It does not roll off the tongue.
You get to go Yeerk.
Years.
That day, the sun was bright. It warmed the earth below us. Warm air rose in an invisible bubble.
What?
A thermal.
What?
You know, air. The thermal pushed up beneath our wings, and we circled higher and higher and higher, till it almost seemed we could touch space. Somewhere up there in cold space, up in orbit, was the Yeerk mothership, perhaps right over our heads. The Yeerks were parasites.
Oh, boy.
In their natural state, they were just big slugs who lived in a sludgy pond called a Yeerk pool. But the Yeerks have the power to take over other bodies. They have enslaved many races throughout the galaxy. The Taxons, the Hork-Bajir, and others. I forgot about those guys. And now they come to Earth looking for more bodies to control. Who was there to try to stop them? Well, off in space, there were the Andalites.
Oh my god.
Enjoy, Chris!
But the Andalites were far away, and it would take them a long time to come to rescue the people of Earth. On Earth, no one knew of the Yeerks. No one but 5 kids who were having fun being birds and riding the thermals. I looked over at my friends. Some were a little way below. Some were higher up, as birds do. Jake was flapping his wings a little more than the rest of us. He had adopted a falcon morph. Falcons don't soar quite as well as hawks or eagles. Tobias was the smoothest flyer.
Falcon fact.
That was partly because red-tailed hawks are natural acrobats. Partly, it was because Tobias had much more practice flying than the rest of us. Too much practice. Okay, Tobias, you were right.
I forgot when they're like Animorphs, they speak telepathically, and that's why everything's in brackets.
Just put a filter over my voice. Is the filter on?
Yep, go for it.
Awesome. Okay, Tobias, you were right. This is the coolest thing in the world, I said, in my mind. Want to try a dive? It's amazing, he said. I wasn't exactly sure that I wanted to dive, but what could I say? I don't usually turn down a challenge, maybe foreshadowing. So I said, sure. Follow me. Tobias bent his wings back and plummeted toward the ground like a bullet. I tucked my wings back and went after him. The ground came rushing up at me. I was falling with nothing at all to stop me from splatting right into the ground.
It was like a nightmare. We were going like 60 miles an hour, as fast as a speeding car. 60 miles an hour, aiming right for the ground. But even though it was scary, it was also way cool. Forget surfing, forget skateboarding, forget snowboarding. You haven't had a thrill till you've ridden the thermals a mile into the air and then gone hurtling straight down at maximum speed, Bodai. Air flew past, just like when you open the car window and you're going really fast. It was like being in the middle of a hurricane. The leading edge of my wings were battered and vibrating. I felt my tail making dozens of tiny adjustments, moving a single feather one way or the other to keep me pointed straight. But one wrong move and I could have tumbled end over end. At this speed, if I suddenly tumbled, I fear I could break a wing. A broken wing this high up was a death sentence. Tobias, I just realized something. What?
A broken wing this high up was a death sentence.
This isn't like being an elephant. If I got in trouble as an elephant, I could morph back to my human body, but I'm a long way up. If I morph back to my human body, ... And I didn't finish that sentence. But I suddenly had this vision of me, the real me, Rachel, dropping like a stone toward the hard ground below.
I guess Tobias could sense the fear that was building in me. Let the eagle do the flying, Tobias advised. Relax, and let the eagle's mind do the thinking. She knows what she's doing. The eagle inside you, I guess.
What? So, is there another consciousness inside them when they turn into animals? It's not like it's not like they're going into an eagle they just saw over there. Their body shifts.
They're turning, horrifically turning into an eagle.
Yeah.
I'm glad one of us does, I said nervously. It's strange when you're in a morph. Here you go. You have the animal's brain in with your own. Usually you can control that animal intelligence, but not always. And sometimes you have to learn to let go, to let the animal take charge.
That still doesn't make a lot of sense.
And that's how I got in trouble with the law.
Yeah.
I relaxed. Instantly, the vibration lessened. I felt more stable. The eagle was in charge. And Tobias was right. The eagle knew how to fly. Then, to my amazement, I saw something go zipping right past us, faster than either me or Tobias. It was Jake. His peregrine falcon's smaller wings made it harder for him to float on the thermals, but those same wings made him unbelievably fast and diving. It was almost like Tobias and I were standing still. Yeah! Jake yelled in our heads. I would have smiled if I had a mouth. Jake is like me. He loves excitement and adventure, and being a little crazy. Maybe we're so alike because we're cousins. Oh my god.
Darn.
Also, we're both a little competitive, I guess. It bothered me that he was a faster diver than I was, just like it bothered him that I could soar better. I guess it sounds ridiculous, huh? Zing! Something went right by my head. You hear that? Tobias asked. Yeah, I sure did. I said, what was it? I don't know. Instinctively, I pulled up out of the dive, straightening every muscle in my wings as I opened them, and felt the shock of wind resistance. It was like opening a parachute. The rest followed my lead. We were still a few thousand feet up, but much closer to the ground than we had been. Zing! I felt something go. I always feel bad when it's me, and there's a weird sound. I know
there's
you guys
so many
would rather do
N's and G's in that zing. Like
There's
the first
so
thing had
many.
like 4 Z's first. That one only has 2.
Zing.
So it's like
Yeah, this one's more.
Zing!
This one's
well,
more.
no, this is what
Zing.
zing.
I felt something go right through my tail feathers. Hey,
damn.
someone down there is shooting at us, I said. I can see them, Cassie said. She and Marco had joined up with us. They had both morphed into the same osprey. What?
Huh?
What
They
are
had
the odds?
both morphed into the same osprey. Again, I don't understand it.
So they both looked like the same bird?
Yeah.
Well, because
No,
I
they're-
think they get their powers from touching an animal. So I think if they had both touched the same osprey,
It was hard to tell them apart because you can't really tell where thought speech. Oh. Okay. It sounded like 2 kids, 1 osprey, but it's just 2 of the same osprey.
I've seen that video. Busted.
I guess it's 2 of the same osprey. I hope someone understands my confusion.
No, yeah. It makes sense to me.
2
I mean, your
guys
confusion makes sense.
over in the woods. They have a rifle. I can't believe this. I was really mad. I'm an endangered species. I'm a bald eagle. What's the matter with those creeps?
Oh my god.
Also, like Bekah, like that was an easy mistake to make. It's so poorly written.
Yeah. If
It's
they
just-
both
none
morphed
of it
into
makes sense.
identical ospreys, would have cleared that right up.
I think they have to like see an animal and be like, that's the animal, and then they like morph.
I don't
No,
think you're
no,
dumb
they
enough
don't.
to
Oh, they
like,
don't?
just
They
get it.
She morphed into a fucking elephant, like right outside of Dunkin' Donuts. There wasn't already an elephant out there.
Well,
I
mean
think it's an animal that they've touched before.
Oh, that they touched before. So she had. Oh, right. So she
which
has
I don't
to have
understand
touched.
why one can be
Wait.
a shark and one can be an alligator.
When the fuck would she have touched a bald eagle?
I don't know. A petting zoo?
They're endangered. All right.
He's getting ready to shoot again, Marco reported. I can see him taking aim. As soon as you see the flash of the rifle, dodge hard right, I yelled. Do a barrel roll. A normal eagle or hawk or falcon would not have been able to figure that out. But we weren't just raptors. We still had our human intelligence. We were clever girls. There are times to let the animal take over. There are other times when that superior human intelligence comes in handy. There, they fired, Jake yelled. Instantly, I turned to sharp right. The bullet went whizzing by harmlessly. You know what? I don't think I like those guys, Tobias said. Tobias
Why?
has special reasons for disliking anyone who would shoot a bird. At a bird. Me neither, I agreed. What? I have an idea. I explained what I wanted to do, and the 5 of us flew off, out of range of the shooters. When we were far enough away, we went into a steep dive, down, down, faster and faster toward the trees. I thought I was scared diving from high up. Now I was diving at a lower altitude, aiming directly at the trees. This was a whole new level of terror. With my eagle's eyes, I could see the bark on the trees.
I could see ants on the bark of the trees. It was like those trees were right in front of us. I hope the eagle knew when to pull out of the dive. If I slammed into one of those trees at 60 miles an hour, I was spam. Spam?
So confused at all of this.
It's also kind of weird to be like, there's these aliens that are going to destroy everything, but let's talk about this bird shit for a half an hour.
Oh, yeah, right?
All right. Sure.
Gotta blow off some steam and ride those thermals, brah.
Then at just the right split second, like a perfectly trained squadron of fighter jets, we opened our wings and swooshed into the
I thought I
tree.
was going to say we opened fire.
Unbelievable.
Morph into gun.
I heard Marco yell. I don't know if that was fun or just insane. It was like some video game nightmare. We kept most of the speed for the dive, and now we were zooming through the trees so fast the tree trunks were just a brown blur all around us. Tree bank left. Tree bank right. Tree down. Tree. Dozens of feathers make
Trees down.
Adjustments. Muscles in my wings trim the angle of attack a millimeter one way, a millimeter back. Tree. Ah! I yelled, half from terror and half from the total out of control thrill of it. In and out, around and through. Zoom. Suddenly,
Gross.
there they were, just ahead in the clearing. 2 teenage creeps sitting in the back of a pickup truck. One guy had a blonde ponytail.
Disgusting.
Gross.
Ew.
The other one wore a baseball cap. They were 100 yards away, like being all the way down a football field, but my eagle eyes were so good I could count their eyelashes. I don't think that's how eagle eyes work. I don't think they can count eyelashes. I think they can just see things moving to eat them.
Are you an eagle?
I don't know if they're telescopic or
No,
what.
I'm not.
Then how do you know?
I don't. Yeah, you know what? You got a good point there. Are you a yerk?
No.
That's what a yerk would say.
Are you a yerk?
No.
Then how would you know?
I am.
Shit. Good thing those kids didn't tell us where they are.
The guy with the ponytail had the rifle. The other guy was... Yeah.
I'm just picturing a slug reading these books. They never tell us who they are.
If only we could get
If
a
only
real last
we knew
name.
their last names and the state they're in. Damn it. Oh my god. The guy with the ponytail had the rifle. The other guy was drinking a beer. They were still scanning the skies looking for us. Guess what, morons? I thought as we raced at them, guess what, morons? I thought as we raced at them, we're not up there anymore, you dumb fucks. We're right here in your face.
Guitar noise.
And she did that with her little feather. I'm going to read the next one too. Chapter 2. They didn't even have time to look surprised before we struck.
Their
As a
eyeballs were delicious.
I know. So I pecked their faces right off. As a bald eagle, I was the biggest of the 5 of us. I could carry the heaviest load.
Gross.
I raked my talons forward. I opened them wide. Sear! What? What? Okay. Tobias's hawk let loose an intimidating shriek. My talons hit the gun barrel and closed on it. Tobias slashed the ponytail guy's head with his own talons. Ponytail shouted in pain and surprise and loosened his grip on the rifle. Hey! The second guy yelled. Zoom! I was out of there with the rifle in my talons. That bird stole my gun! Oh shit.
Now these teenagers have a gun. With the additional weight of the rifle, it was a struggle getting any altitude. That bird has your gun, Chester. And that other one stole my beer.
What?
I glanced over and saw Marco. At least I think it was Marco. He had the beer can in his talons, half crumpled.
He was shotgunning it like a bird.
They're way too young to be drinking, Marco said in his most parent-like voice. I heard the ponytail guy complaining down below. That ain't right. It ain't right that no bird should take my rifle like that. He wiped away a tear. I caught a little breeze and gained just enough altitude to get above the trees, but I was having a hard time. My wings were beating the still dead air of the woods, and I was not getting very much lift. I scraped the top of a tall pine tree and emerged from the woods. Still flapping hard to carry the weight of the rifle, I made it out toward the beach, over the low cliffs at the water's edge. The blessed thermals were there. They lifted me up, and out over the water. I relaxed, letting the warm wind carry me higher. I dropped the rifle about a mile out in the ocean. I figured any jerk who would shoot at a bald eagle doesn't need a gun. Marco dropped the beer with amazing precision right into a trash barrel. He looked as proud as he would have if he'd just thrown the winning basket in the NBA championship.
Can you imagine looking up in the sky and being like, does that bald eagle have a gun?
It makes a lot of sense.
And that other one's very conscientious about trash.
Yeah. If I saw an eagle drop a can in a trash, I would just be so happy at
You'd
the
just be
magic in the world.
It's been almost 2 hours, Cassie warned us as we lazily drifted back towards shore. 2 hours is the time limit. If you stay in a morph for more than 2 hours, you're trapped.
How do you know? You don't have watches, you're birds.
There's an old rundown church no one uses anymore. Not far from the beach. It has a bell tower.
God is dead.
It has a bell tower, although the bell is gone. We flew there. That's where we had started from. Our clothes and shoes were still piled there. 4 pairs of shoes for the 5 of us. Cassie, still in her osprey body, peered down at her watch lying on the floor. Good, an hour and a half. We should try never to go over an hour and a half. We began to morph back into our human bodies. Morphing takes concentration. When you're going from human to animal, it's harder. You really have to focus, but going back to human is easier. I focused on my human self. I formed a picture of myself in my mind, tall, thin, with blonde, shoulder-length hair. I focused especially on the hair because I didn't like my last haircut. It was uneven at the bottom. Not that it mattered.
It's so specific.
I just want the listener to know that Chris didn't add that last part.
I just wished I could do something about that hair when I morphed. Unfortunately, morphing doesn't work that way, idiot. The changes began quickly. The feathers that covered me began to melt. They ran together like hot wax. Ew.
Oh, God, yeah, this is fucking disgusting.
It sounds awful. In some places, when my skin reappeared, it would have this beautiful feather pattern for a few seconds. My yellow bill sucked back into my mouth to become white teeth. That part sort of itched. It made me want to grind my teeth a few times.
Oh, no.
My lips grew out around my teeth. My eyes went from pale gold to my normal blue, and my legs grew quite a bit, from about 3 inches to normal size. It sounds like horrific. I looked over at Jake and I saw the
it's
same.
It's like the fly.
So so the beak went first, so she was just like
a bird with human lips and teeth.
Bird head, human teeth.
Yeah.
Bird legs.
Just like what if a bald eagle looked at you and was like,
and how old are they all?
They're teenagers, I think.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of nude teens.
Naked teenagers.
But like, how are they not just like screaming the whole time?
I imagine they are.
How is the hysterical religious right not banning Animorphs?
Right?
I mean, like, Jesus Christ.
It's horrific.
Because they're fans.
They're not cross-dressing. They're just changing into animals.
Right.
They think they're the Animorphs, but they don't know they're the Yeerks.
They're changing into gun-toting bald eagles. They love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what are you talking about? They love it.
Fine. It's totally fine. I looked over at Jake and I saw the same thing happening to him. And let me just tell you, Mama Lake, watching someone morph is not a pretty sight. It's the kind of thing that would give you screaming nightmares if you didn't know it was going to be all right. And
Jake's cloaca turned into his little penis.
Right. When Cassie morphs, she always does it kind of artistically. Like, that bitch. Like when she changes into a horse, she does it so she doesn't look totally creepazoid. Like, she has a natural talent for morphing, if there's such a thing, and the rest of us just let it happen however it happens, and the results can be disturbing. Okay, so good luck.
She turns into a hot horse.
Good luck sleeping tonight trying to figure out how you make a horse look great when you... What the fuck?
Oh my God.
God, it's awesome.
I happened to see Marco at the moment where his hairy boy legs came shooting out of this little bird body, and I yelled. And I yelped, "What the fuck?" Hey, you don't look so good yourself, Rachel. That's how it's written.
That's how it's written.
His mouth was morphing even as he spoke. So the first few words were garbled, and then the last were normal, if you hadn't figured that out by now.
Idiot.
I think what he said was, "Hey, you don't look so good yourself, Rachel."
Yeah, we got it, Rachel.
Figured it out, Rachel. He was probably right. I was glad I didn't have a mirror. My tongue grew fat in my mouth. My eyesight became faded and dim. The eagle's mind evaporated, leaving me all alone in my head with my naked shame.
I sought solace in alcohol and hallucinogens.
My wings became arms, my talons became toes, the scaly yellow eagle legs became my own legs.
I thought
only
her legs
they were
already did that.
Still all scaly at first. They kind of suck in and out sometimes.
They just pop back.
Yeah. Nice look, chicken legs, Marco said. Do those come in extra crispy too? He said, staring at my naked body. I smiled at him. You're not one to talk, Marco. I pointed down at the floor. See, his legs had changed. but he still had huge osprey talons instead of feet. Also, his dick was hanging out.
And a bird wang.
He had a little feathery bird wang.
He had a weird cloaca. Ew.
As my skin began to appear, so did my morphing outfit. What?
Oh, okay.
Huh?
Wait a minute.
Oh.
As my skin began to appear, so did my morphing outfit. Fortunately, after a few tries, we had all learned to morph some very minimal clothing. All right, the person writing this book is like, I know where your head is at.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. But I swear to God, the last time we read Animorphs, they made a point about how they were naked.
Yeah.
I do not remember.
Maybe this is like an updated one after the initial publication where they're like, maybe we should not have a bunch of naked kids.
Shouldn't be naked.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a condition of being inside that other kid's body.
Is it all the same author, though? Maybe there's different authors that are like...
Yeah, there's ghostwriters, I believe.
Yeah, it's technically the same author.
I think like every single children's book, I don't know about R.L. Stine, but every book series when we were kids had a bunch of ghostwriters.
Yeah, I think R.L. Stine's like the one outlier.
I always like to picture, because the author usually comes up with just the premise of the book and then the ghostwriter takes it from there. And I like to picture it's like the Burt Reynolds Norm Macdonald impression from SNL Jeopardy where it's just like, I don't know, have them get real small. Go in one of the kids' bodies, maybe
in this one she turns into an elephant. I don't know.
Like that movie, Magic School Bus.
Yeah, perfect.
We had all learned to morph some very minimal clothing, usually nothing more than skin-tight workout clothes or leotards. Not enough to go walking around in, but enough to keep us all from dying of embarrassment when we morphed in front of each other. Okay,
Ew.
All right, Rachel.
I checked out my friends.
I choose to believe they're naked.
This just got less sexy.
She's checking her friends out.
They were mostly normal again, with just a few remaining hints that they'd been birds a minute earlier. Jake is a kind of a big guy, strong-looking, with brown hair and serious dark eyes.
And he kept going, ah!
Although at the moment his eyes were shining with excitement. Ooh. Sometimes being in a morph just totally breaks you out. Jake was a lizard once, and he still hasn't gotten over the fact that he ate a live spider. But I guess he enjoyed being a falcon because he was babbling on and on about how great it was. That was so absolute, he said. It's like now being back in a human body. I feel like I'm handicapped or something. Oh, I feel like I'm glued to the ground. And blind, Cassie agreed. Human eyes are so lame for seeing things far away. So lame for...
I don't know why, but I don't like Cassie
Human eyes are not
already.
good at seeing things far away. She grinned and spread her wings. She had managed to keep her wings till the very end. Now she looked like some strange angel.
This is why I don't like Cassie. Just fucking show off.
She's just trying to look a little hot while she goes through some like fucking disgusting body horror.
No, suffer like the rest of us.
Oddly, the look worked for her. Okay, we are into Cassie.
Yeah.
The osprey's 5-foot gray and white wings were incredibly cool. Do you think you could fly? Jake asked her. He looked a little awestruck. Cassie laughed. No, Jake. This body weighs about 80 pounds. These wings aren't built for that kind of weight. 80 pounds.
She morphed her wings into arms in about 3 seconds and laughed gaily. Ha 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 ha. Marco shook his head. Great. When we morph, we look like some mad scientist genetic experiment gone totally crazy. And Cassie gets to look like an angel. Cassie and I have been friends for a long time. Although to look at us, you wouldn't think we'd hang out together.
Just friends.
Cassie
I want to get an apartment with her one day.
Cassie is casual to the extreme. The girl just doesn't care about clothing or style. I swear she would wear overalls to a wedding if someone didn't stop her. Like a lesbian.
How many weddings is this teenager going to?
She just crashes them all the time.
Cassie lives on a farm, explains the overalls, and her whole family is massively into animals. Like, apparently the narrator is. Her dad used the barn to run the Wildlife Rehabilitation Clinic, which is a kind of hospital for injured animals. Well, now we know where they got all that from.
Yep, okay.
It's always full of birds,
Convenient.
and skunks, and opossums, and coyotes, and every other animal you could think of. Cassie's mom is a vet, too. She works at the Gardens, this huge zoo and amusement park. Okay, even more animals.
That explains a lot.
Jesus Christ.
It was probably like a montage in the first book that we haven't read where it's like,
we could go touch monkeys.
Let's go touch this one. So maybe Cassie was just born with an instinct for understanding animals. All I know is she's always finished morphing while the rest of us are still looking like creepy half-human, half-animal monsters.
Like on the cover of this book.
I did not ad-lib that. I just love that the book acknowledges that.
Yeah.
As for me,
what it's about.
Well, it's not that I'm Miss Fashion or whatever, but I do like nice clothes. I guess that, plus the way I look, makes a lot of people think I'm stuck up or something.
People do think I'm pretty, but to me, that's just an accident, you know? Looks are not that important. Looks are not the important thing. It's what's in your head that counts.
She's did a
Says a
backdoor
hot
brag.
girl.
Yeah, exactly. Shut the fuck up, Cassie. Of course, that's another area where Cassie and I are a little different. I guess she would say, no, it's what's in your heart that counts. And she's a natural peacemaker. If there's ever, she won't get far. Haha. If there's ever a conflict within the group, it's usually me and Marco that caused it, and Cassie who got us all calmed down.
She'll learn to
Personally,
stop
I'm
people
glad to-
pleasing when she's in her 30s.
Personally, I'm glad to be back to my regular body, Marco said. The flying part is great, but it's not a good idea to be able to see that well. Why? Jake asked. Look, Jake, how many times have you been walking around the mall or whatever? You'll see a girl who seems good looking from far off, but when you get closer, it turns out she's a skank. Oh, nice. Hey,
A full-on
listen up,
Monet.
listen up, kids. Jesus. I mean, if you could see this well all the time. Excuse me, I interrupted. I'm sure I didn't hear you say what I thought you just said. I wasn't being sexist, said the sexist boy. Seen from far
He
off, I
said
look taller than I am.
sexistly.
Yeah, he said sexistly. Marco was a little self-conscious about being fucking
Marco.
piece of
He has long brown hair and a dark complexion, and most girls think he's really cute, but being small bothers him. He has what you might call a Napoleon complex. Your problem isn't with people seeing you too well, I said. It's with people hearing you too well. You look like a fairly smart guy, then you open your mouth. Marco just grinned. Marco loves to annoy people. He really is extremely smart and basically nice, I guess. Underneath it all, it's just that the boy loves to provoke people. Marco and Jake are best friends, even though Jake is serious and thoughtful and always trying to do what's right. Marco is a sarcastic piece of shit, temperamental, and is the most reluctant of the Animorphs. Marco still thinks we should just give up the battle against the Yeerks and try to stay alive. But with Marco, you never know if he really believes that or if he's just saying it to be contrary. Well,
Lovable scamp.
let's get out of here, Jake suggested. I have homework to do. Me too, I said. And I have gymnastics class this afternoon, and I'm totally unprepared. I'm skipping
What
school
time of day
right
is
now.
it?
Yeah.
They just went out for a lunchtime fly.
Yeah. That's when the thermals are the best. Cassie sighed. It's such a drag. The chores and the homework all come rushing back as soon as we change back into our boring human selves.
Oh, right.
As soon as she said it, Cassie bit her tongue. Ow. She cast a regretful look at Tobias.
Are you gonna be okay?
I'm not. I can't read.
Okay.
I also forgot about Tobias. He blew himself.
Go Bias. Go Bias Industries.
See, while all of us had changed back, Tobias had not.
Tobias, am I reading? Okay. Tobias was still a hawk. Tobias, who had once had unruly blonde hair and eyes that seemed hurt and tender and hopeful all at once.
What?
Tobias had been trapped while trying to escape from the hellish nightmare of the Yeerk pool. I guess that happens in book 1.
I guess.
I was wondering when it happened, but it's sorry.
Oh, right, this is book 2.
Yeah. He had stayed more than 2 hours in that morph. We had all returned to our human forms, but Tobias was still a hawk. Tobias will always be a hawk. End of chapter.
And what was explained in the last one we read, book 40-something, is that he prefers it. Because apparently his life wasn't so good before.
Oh, I guess he gets, you find that out in the next 43 books.
Yeah.
What a
Chapter
rush.
3. We all walked most of the way home together, feeling worn out. The flying was a little tiring, and morphing always takes a lot out of you. Tobias flew high overhead. He didn't really participate in the conversation. It's hard for him. See, he can speak to us, and we can understand him, but when we're in human shape, we can only talk in the normal way. He can't hear us unless he's close by, and he can't be close and still fly. This morphing thing would be so excellent if it weren't for the whole thing with the Yeerks, Marco was saying. I mean, if it were just normal, we could really use these powers.
For crimes. Oh, what? Oh.
To do what? Fight crime? Jake asked. Marco looked
Jake's
at him.
such a cop.
You guys want to fight crime or what?
Marco looked at him with a mixture of pity and amusement. Fight crime? Who are you, Spider-Man? I'm talking show business, movies, TV shows. I could go on Letterman. I could be an entire episode of Stupid Pet Tricks all by myself. You're right, I said, batting my eyes so he would know I was kidding. You already have the stupid part down. Oh! This is like Marvel-level banter.
What is this, Captain America I'm watching? Or Spider-Man?
We'd be hot in horror movies, Cassie said. Or how about as stuntmen, Jake suggested. One of us could jump off the tallest building and it would be totally realistic. Then we'd just morph into a bird on the way down and fly away. Now I'm really mad at the Yerks, Marco said. They're getting in the way of my showbiz career. I could be a millionaire. I could be trading funny lines with Dave. I could have beautiful Hollywood supermodels all over me. Uh-huh, I said with a wink at Cassie. Lots of women love animals. But sooner or later, you'd have to change back into your actual self, Marco, and then, boom, they'd be out of there. We walked along the boulevard that goes by the construction site. It's this huge area of half-finished buildings with rusted earth movers and cranes and backhoes scattered around. You know, construction equipment. It didn't even have to be a sentence that long. I guess it was originally going to be a shopping center, but for some reason they never finished it.
That's where the climax is going to happen.
Probably a secret base.
We didn't take the shortcut through the construction site like we would have in the old days, though. See, it was at this construction site that we saw the Andalite Prince's damaged fighter land. Like you fucking do. It was here that the Andalite warned us of the Yerk conspiracy and gave us our special powers. What the fuck? It was also here. I'm like looking at my drink like, was it that strong? It was also here that we saw the Yerk commander, Visser 3, murder the Andalite prince. Visser 3 is the only one of the Yerks who has our same power to morph, and Visser 3 is an Andalite controller, meaning that he has an Andalite body. Okay, God. Keep up, guys. A human controller is a Yerk with a human body, and a Toxon controller is a Yerk with a Toxon body. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Yep, sure.
I totally remember all of that.
Anyway, Visser 3 is the only Yerk to ever capture an Andalite body. Where are you guys going? Come back. So he's also the only Yerk who can morph. And that night at the construction site, he morphed into some creature from a far-off planet, a huge, horrible monster. And then he took the Andalite and... You know what? I really don't want to talk about all that, even though I just did. You'll just have to ask Jake.
Who, me?
Is she talking into camera occasionally, like in Wayne's World?
It's literally a plug for the first book in the second book. Because I bet Jake narrates the first book.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure Rachel narrated the other book we read, so all I know is Rachel. Yeah.
That is brilliant marketing.
Yeah. So we all fell silent as we passed by the site, and then I noticed that Cassie had stopped walking and was just standing there. I went back to her and realized that she was crying. Are you okay? I asked.
I kissed her. She shook her head. No. Are you? I sighed. Flying around in the sky had been a wonderful distraction, but my head was still full of awful memories. I guess not, I admitted. Last night I had a terrible nightmare about the Yerk pool. I was back down there in that vast open cave, and I was hearing the screams and cries of the people being dragged into the pool. Cassie nodded. You know what's worse than the screams? The way they stop screaming once the Yerks are in their head. That's a terrible joke.
Christ. It's not a joke.
I know.
She's haunted.
Once they become controllers, then you know they are slaves again, lost, like Tom. We both turned. It was Jake. He and Marco had seen us stop and had come back. Tom is Jake's brother. Tom is a human controller, a human being enslaved by a Yerk in his head. We'd found the Yerk pool and gone down into that hell to get Tom. We'd failed. We'd barely escaped with our lives. Cassie put her arm around Jake's waist. Someday, we'll save Tom, she said.
I'm Googling to see if they ever saved Tom.
Jake.
So, how long does this Yerk shit arc over the Animorphs?
The whole thing.
I think years.
Why was this turned into a TV show or a movie?
It was a TV show.
Jinx.
Oh God!
Starring a young Shawn Ashmore.
I don't know who that is, Reach.
Iceman from the X-Men movies.
Does it happen in this book or a different book?
A different book.
Okay.
Just spoilers for what happens to Tom, just because I was curious. Despite his freedom being Jake's primary mission for joining the war, Tom never regained his freedom and was killed during the final battle by his cousin Rachel under Jake's orders. What?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure it definitely becomes, like,
I gotta read it like 30 fucking Animorphs.
Wait, so Jake orders Rachel to kill Tom?
Yeah. I guess that might have... I don't know if that was in the show or... Oh no, that Reddit community is private. I can't read that Reddit post.
They're like, stop coming here with your Animorphs fanfic. We don't want it anymore. Animorphs is sexy enough as it is.
So that happened in the TV show. I don't know if that happens in the books or not.
Okay. Cassie put her arm around Jake's waist. Someday we'll save Tom, she said. No, you won't. Jake kind of stroked Cassie's head. I guess he got embarrassed because he instantly pulled away. Cassie didn't mind. She knows how guys are about showing their true feelings. They can't do it. Toxic masculinity.
Yeah, America. It's impossible.
I looked across the construction site and saw Tobias come fluttering down out of the sky.
I couldn't see where he landed because that part of the site is hidden from the road, but I knew right where he was, on the spot where the Andalite had died. Somehow, in those brief moments when the Andalite had been with us, Tobias had formed some kind of special bond with him. We started walking again. We need to find another way to get at them, I said angrily. It bothered me, imagining Tobias back in that maze of never-finished buildings mourning for the Andalite. Get at who? Marcus asked suspiciously. The French Marco, I said sarcastically. Who do you think? The Yerks, duh. Whoa,
Marco,
Marco said. We tried that, remember? We went down into the Yerk pool after them and got our butts kicked. Yerks 10, humans 0. So you figure you should just give up, I demanded. We lost one game, Jake said. You don't quit the sport just because you lose one game. Some game, Marco said bitterly. Some sport. We didn't... That was making me think of a line from something, and then I couldn't remember it. We didn't lose anyway, I said. The others looked at me like I was crazy. Look, I explained, I know we didn't save Tom, and we sure didn't stop the Yerks, but we gave them a reason to be afraid at least. God, this got boring.
Yeah, they're terrified of us. Vistor 3 probably can't sleep at night. He's so worried about 5 kids, Marcus said sarcastically. Look, Vistor 3 doesn't think we're a threat. He thinks we're lunch. He doesn't know who or what we are, I pointed out.
Or where?
The Yerks are convinced that we're Andalite warriors because they know that we can morph, and they know that we found the Yerk pool and infiltrated it and
drink every time they say Yerk pool.
And took out a few of their taxons and Hork-Bajir while we were at it.
I fucking love Hork-Bajir. I love saying it. I love reading it.
It's our new toast.
That episode of Deep Space Nine where the Hork-Bajir attacked. Yeah.
I think they're probably a little nervous at least. What were you going to say, Jonathan?
I was going to say the next time we toast, we should go Hork-Bajir.
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 I'm stalling for time to open a beer.
I'm going to yell that the next time someone gets married.
It's Hork-Bajir. Alrighty, where was I?
Hork-Bajir.
Jake nodded. Rachel's right. But just the same, I don't think we want to try to go back to the Yerk pool. Besides, the door is gone. I've decided Jake is Lion-O from Thundercats. Because he talks like we lost one game. It doesn't mean we quit the sport. He's the Optimus.
Lion-O. That's awesome.
I don't remember what Lion-O sounds like, but I'll go with it. I'll emulate you.
We all stopped and stared at him. He shrugged. Look, I just wanted to see if the door still worked, okay? Just in case. But it's not there anymore. The door leading down to the Yerk pool had been hidden in the janitor's closet of our school.
What?
Man, the first book sounds great.
Oh my God.
I love that we didn't start with the first book.
Maybe we'll read it eventually.
Well,
spread all
I'm sure
over
this will
city.
get weird soon.
We should read the first book and then the last book.
Weird soon?
There were dozens of doors. There were dozens of doors to the underground Yeerk pool spread all over the city, but this was the only one we knew about. So we find another way to get at them, I said. We can follow Tom again when it's time for his Yeerk to return to the Yeerk pool.
Yeerk, Yeerk, Yeerk,
The
Yeerk.
amount of times they go out of their way to
Why isn't it
include
just
that.
Yerk? Yerk is
It's
too much effort.
Yeerk,
Yerk
Yeerk.
is acceptable.
Yeerk. It should be like YE''ERK. So you have to do like Yeerk.
All right,
No, that's
Colin.
worse.
I think it's supposed to be pronounced Yeerk.
How do you
So
know?
like why?
'Cause he's a Yeerk.
Well, because I vaguely remember watching the show as a kid, like so vaguely.
Yeerks have to go to the pool every 3 days. They drain out of their hosts' heads and soak up Pandora rays.
Just
Idiot.
love swimming.
Kendra.
No, we leave Tom out of it, Jake said firmly. If we call attention to him in any way, the Yeerks may decide he's trouble for them. They may decide to kill him. Marco gave me a sour look. This is what you want to keep doing? Risking our lives and the lives of everyone we know? For what? For freedom, Cassie said simply.
I'm just so annoyed that the fucking Animorphs read it as private because they're trying to find out information.
Marco
No one
didn't have
cares
a
about your
smart-
fucking Reddit blackout.
Oh God.
Join, infiltrate their shit like a Yeerk.
Huh? What?
He said
What a
infiltrate
twist.
them like a Yeerk. He's telling you.
Yeah,
Who
Yeerk.
is?
Jason's
Oh,
telling
me.
you.
Oh, me. Do it.
You,
Yes, I
you,
will.
do it.
Yeerk it, Yeerk it.
Yeerk, 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 Yeerk.
Stop saying dab. Marco didn't have a smart answer to that. There's still Chapman, Jake said. Chapman is our assistant principal
What
and
the
a new
fuck?
character. He's also one of the most important human controllers. He runs The Sharing, the
What?
club that helps recruit unsuspecting kids into being host for the years. Everybody keep up, okay?
Oh my God.
If there was some way, I feel like I'm like in school and I don't give a fuck about Spanish and they're just throwing too much shit at me.
Okay, so like the amount of exposition they repeat in this book, Jason, this is book 2. So imagine how it was in book 40 something, and they're referencing so many different things, but then these things even more vague.
We'd be like 3/4 of the way through the book, and it'd be like, so anyway, this thing is that. We're like, another new thing?
Like 2 minutes have passed in the
Stop.
book's timeline.
Damn. If there was some way for us to get close to Chapman, ... Jake said, letting the words hang in the air. He carefully didn't look at me, like you do carefully. But I knew what he meant. He'd obviously been thinking about this for a while. Melissa, I asked. He nodded. It is a possibility. See, Melissa Chapman, the assistant principal Chapman's daughter, is one of my closest friends. Or at least she used to be. The last few months, she's been a turbo bitch, and she's been acting very strange toward me. Like, she didn't care anymore.
We take gymnastics together. Actually, we got into it at the same time. Something to do
more
together.
like tumbling than gymnastics, but anyway.
She's another one of my friends, quote unquote.
I have not been paying attention to this book at all
That's fine.
because I've been reading a bunch of comments from some fucking nerds online.
About Yeerks.
And there's a Facebook group called Animorphs Yeerk posting that I kind of want to join.
Yeerk
People are posting there.
Is it like from today?
This is from a day ago.
Holy shit.
Vibrant. What a community.
Is that an Orca meme about Animorphs? Or no, it's just an Orca meme.
I think it's just an orca existing.
I don't like using a friend that way, I said. Oh, suddenly the mighty Rachel is weaseling, Marco crowed. You don't like using your friends? You're pretty willing to risk my life.
I think we're doing the same Marco voices.
I think
in
we
the
are.
Last episode.
Well, See, here's what I'm remembering. Marco sounds a lot like our friend Mark in personality, and that's basically the voice we do for Mark because that's what Mark sounds.
It's kind of very adventure brothers.
He'll never listen to this, so we don't have to worry about
Exactly.
offending him.
Sure, Marco, but who said you were my friend? Oh, very funny, Marco said, but at the same time, he looked a little hurt. No, it's funny. Kidding, Marco, I said. Just stop crying. I'm just kidding. Of course you're my friend. Marco, Jesus Christ. But you're an Animorph. Melissa's just an innocent bystander. I wish I had never come up with that word, Marco said. Animorph, give me a break. Rachel, Melissa's father is one of the main controllers. Am I doing it right?
No,
Yeah,
no, he said it gently.
Jake said gently. Rachel!
Wait, like, Lina was always like, Chitara, what do we do?
Okay.
No, that is Lina speaking gently. You did it perfectly.
Okay. Jake said gently, ignoring Marco, like all of us do all the time. She's in this whether she likes it or not. I felt a bitter taste in my mouth. I guess when I was a bird, I ate some fucking some rabbit
stuff.
Bitter
pennies.
stuff.
Too many pennies.
Jake was right, of course. Chapman was the logical lead to follow, and Melissa was our way to get close. It made sense. It made sense for me to betray an old friend. It also made me feel like dirt.
So, should one of the voices be Snarf if you're doing a line?
No. I mean,
That's Tobias.
It depends.
I'll do it. I'll fucking do it.
It depends. It gotta have a character that it really, really fits to.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's no rules. You could do whatever you want.
I'll just be Robert Burble or whatever the fuck.
Good luck doing that voice.
Yeah.
Chapter 4.
I love that you attempted, but gave up immediately.
Like, I only know all this shit because Jonathan was glued to the TV watching
So
it,
far,
and I
there's
would
no new
pass.
information.
I would
So far,
I would
there's no
pass
new
through the room,
information.
and I'm like, "What is
Yeah.
this Third Earth shit?" And I would like sit down and watch it or whatever. Like, Thundercats was way after my time, but I know like way too much about it.
Is this
Are
called
you
The
going
Visitor
backwards?
we're reading?
I think so. I scrolled up because I wasn't listening because I was looking at the Facebook group. 'Cause it
Oh,
was
we were
amazing.
just talking about Thundercats. It's cool.
You
Yeah.
could have just cold read it. It would have been fine.
What? I know. I was just looking while you were talking about fucking Thundercats.
Oh.
Chapter 4. The next day after school, I headed for my gymnastics class at the YMCA, which is just across from the mall. They have a big indoor pool, so the entire building always smells of chlorine, except for the weight room, which just smells like sweat. My class is taught in a smaller room with blue mats covering the floor. We have balance beams and uneven parallel bars and a vaulting horse with a springboard. I'm okay at vaulting in the parallel bars, but I'm pretty lame at the balance beam. To be honest with you, it kind of scares me. It takes such total concentration. What a fun page that was.
You can read the next one. This is a short one. Read the next one.
It's more about gymnastics. It's not one of those real serious gymnastics classes. I mean, none of us is going to be in the Olympics. When I started out, I had dreams of being the next Shannon Miller. You know, Shannon.
Her.
But
Yeah.
then I started to grow. I'm pretty tall now for my age. People look at me now and say, "Oh, you're going to be a model." Not, "Oh, you could be a
Humble brag.
gymnast." And it makes me furious. Most of us in this class are too tall or too heavy to ever be serious gymnasts. We do it for fun and for exercise. I do it because I've always thought of myself as kind of clumsy. My mom says I'm not, but that's how I feel anyway. Jesus, she's really fucking hard on herself. Besides, it's just cool hitting the little springboard and flipping through the air to bounce off the vaulting horse and stick the landing. Not as cool as flying, maybe, but fun just the same. Melissa Chapman was in the locker room changing into her leotard when I came in. She's the exception to the rule in our class. She does look like a gymnast. She's small and thin, even though she doesn't starve herself like some fools who want to get into gymnastics.
The fools.
Have they still not told us their ages?
No.
Okay. She has pale
But,
gray
I mean, like, high
eyes.
school?
I hope they're over 18 while he
I-
described these women like young bodies.
Changing.
Right?
She has pale
Her
gray
before
eyes
back.
and pale blonde hair and pale skin. Ew. She looks like one of those solemn elves in a Tolkien book. At first glance,
This
she
book
looks...
knows its audience.
Right.
You've definitely read The Hobbit, you fucking
She
nerd.
looks terminal.
At first glance, she looks delicate, but when you look a little closer, you see strength there, too. Melissa gave me the kind of not very warm smile she always gives me lately. Maybe because you're fucking staring
I
at
was
her while
gonna
she's
say,
changing
maybe
into a
because you're just like,
leotard.
Take it home.
Her gray eyes remind me of a fucking zombie.
Anyone ever tell you you're thin and delicate, but also strong? You look like a gymnast, Melissa.
Her gray eyes reminded me of the Elohunaphinaphin, like some sort of Tolkien Elvish river. like she was distracted or thinking about something more important. Hey, Melissa, I said. How's it going? Fine. How about you? Oh, pretty much the same old thing. That was a lie, of course. Do you think she would tell? But what was I going to say? Yeah, Melissa, same old, same old. Been turning into animals and fighting aliens, you know, the usual. Melissa didn't say anything else.
Is this just like an allegory for puberty?
Probably.
Oh, probably.
That might be giving it too much credit.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, what if they did this? And then, all of a sudden they did this.
Fine. How about you? My body's changing.
I feel like it started as an allegory for puberty when the person who wrote it thought up the Animorphs thing, but then there's like Yerk, Hork-Bajir, controllers, Yerk
fucking eagles and shit. Yeah.
Andalites.
Forever.
Oh, hey, how's it going with you? I don't know. Just been feeling like a real elephant lately.
No, seriously. A real elephant.
Melissa didn't say anything else. She had just adjusted her leotard and started to do a few little stretches. That's the way it was. We said hi, but not much more. It used to be we were very close. She was my second best friend, after Cassie. Melissa, I was thinking, maybe you'd like to walk over to the mall with me after class. I have to buy a new pair of sneaks, which is what we called it in the 90s. The mall, she stammered a little and then started blushing. You mean go shopping? Yeah, you know, walk around and look at stuff and check out the cute guys and diss the snotty women at the perfume counters. I tried to sound casual, like it was no big deal. Do you think she could tell?
I sounded like a real adult pretending to be a child.
In the old days, it would have been totally nothing, but now Melissa looked like a trapped animal.
It would be quite corking if we went to the mall.
Hello, fellow students.
When had Melissa and I gotten to be such strangers? I'm, kind of busy, Melissa said.
Oh, that's cool. I understand. But I didn't understand. Not at all. She started to walk away, and I was going to let it go, but then I remembered, a bitch. This wasn't just about a friend who had drifted away. This was about her father, one of the leaders of the controllers, one of our most dangerous enemies. So I grabbed her. Melissa, look. I feel like we've kind of gone in different ways, you know?
Jesus
and I miss you.
Christ.
Go to Auntie Anne's and get a pretzel. She shrugged. Okay, well, maybe we could get this together sometime. Not sometime, Melissa. That's just you blowing me off. What is going on with you? What's going on with me? She echoed. For a moment, a look of extraordinary sadness darkened her eyes and tugged downward at the corner of her mouth. Nothing is going on with me, she said. We better get out of there or Coach Elway's going to have a fit. And she pulled her arm away. I just watched her go. I felt like a complete and total jerk. Something had happened to Melissa, and I hadn't even noticed. She was my friend, and something had changed in her, and I hadn't seen it. I'd just gone my own way. And I was, yeah, you know, go your own way, like Fleetwood Mac.
She said jerk. Oh, I thought it was
Ew.
yerk, but
I felt like a complete and total yerk. I'm going to start saying that.
Did you say yerk? No, I said jerk. Okay. And now I was only acting like a concerned Fred, and the truth was I was only Friend. I said Fred. Alcohol.
It's okay.
I've been a concerned Fred before.
Well, what is going on? Like Fred Schneider.
Melissa!
The truth was I was only paying attention for my own selfish ass reasons.
I wasn't able to concentrate on the lesson. Not concentrating when you're doing gymnastics can be painful because you land and break your neck. I slipped on the balance beam and banged my knee so badly I cried like a little girl. Melissa was the first one to rush over. And for about 10 seconds, she was the old Melissa. But by the time I got back up, she was off across the room in her own little world again.
Oh, she's fine. Fuck that bitch.
It was right then that the terrible suspicions started. Yeah. How have you not thought about this yet? Melissa had been acting very strangely. Her father was a controller. I don't know what it could be. I don't know what... I looked at her from across the room, and I felt a chill. Was she one too? Was my old friend Melissa a controller? I didn't go shopping after my lesson. I didn't really feel like it. Melissa's eyes, the way she had looked at me, kind of killed my urge to shop. I I was supposed to head over to the mall, then call my mom when I was done to come pick me up. That was the plan, but since I didn't feel like mall crawling, I just headed home, alone, with the sky growing dark as rain clouds moved in, with no shopping bags.
This was written by a boomer, and I like how they're like, it killed my urge to shop. Yeah, nothing's worse than fucking killing your urge to shop.
These entitled kids, all they want to do is shop the mall.
They're killing malls with this kind of behavior.
They didn't have nearly as much to do with their time as we do.
I didn't even feel like mall crawling. Like, back when you didn't have to have, like,
Yeah. Anyway. It was stupid and careless of me, but I guess I was preoccupied with other things, although at least I had the sense to stay out of the construction site. What?
I don't know.
I don't know. Something good better happen soon.
I was walking down the sidewalk that runs along the boulevard when suddenly I realized that a car had pulled up just a little way down the sidewalk from me. A guy got out. He looked like he was in high school or even college. He also looked like trouble. I should have turned around and run back toward the mall, but sometimes I don't always do the sensible thing. Sometimes I regret not doing the sensible thing. This was one of those times.
Oh, Rachel.
Oh, no. Hey, baby, he said, want to go for a little ride? I shook my head and clutched my gym bag close. What an idiot I was to be so careless. It's all your fault, Rachel. You were asking for it.
Oh, God.
Now, don't be stuck up, sweet thing, he said. I think you'd better get in the car. The way he said it didn't sound like an invitation.
No shit.
It sounded like an order. Now I was really afraid. Can't you just turn into like a fucking tiger and kill him?
Right.
Or an eagle and kill him?
Or
How would
away.
they ever catch you and be like, well, clearly a tiger killed this man?
Yeah.
Turn
into an eagle and murder him and fly away.
Turn into a possum and bite him.
I would do so many crimes and possible murders if I was an Animorph.
Just turn your face into a possum.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, if you could do, I would do that all the time.
Yeah.
With 100% drive off, he'd be like, never mind.
Oh my turn around and be like,
if you're an Animorph, you could do murder on camera.
Yeah.
They'd still never catch
you morphing.
Murder on camera.
It'd just be like, no, this baboon broke into this dude's house, broke his arms off, and then beat him with them.
Until you get, like, tranquilized, and then you pass out, and more than 2 hours pass, and then you just wake up as a baboon in, like, a cage.
It would have to be like one of those far-flung TV show, like I'm just such a good detective connections, where it's just like, wait, this guy he got into an argument 3 months ago touched a baboon at a zoo. Maybe there's something there. And then he stumbles on the conspiracy. And
are you writing a detective show about this?
That's
I didn't want to.
That's the sequel I want to read, is like the new Animorphs, but it's just like a detective thriller.
Like investigating the Animorphs.
It's all from the point of view of like, a cop who's not an Animorph.
Yeah.
But he's like, I know there's something weird going on.
With the amount of THC alcohol in my system and spaghetti, I just have no control over myself.
It's like when
Laszlo
when Laszlo was a bat and got caught by animal control, and they were like, that bat has the largest erection we've ever seen. and then Nandor like goes in as what was he? Was he a fucking dog or something?
Oh my God, I think so, yeah.
And then transforms and he's still in the cage and is like, how the fuck are you gonna rescue me?
Yes.
I'm here to rescue you, you idiot. Holy fuck. Oh my God, the new season starts soon. I'm so excited.
Oh, I forgot about that.
The trailer looks fantastic.
I clutched my gym bag close as I passed him. Don't ignore me, he hissed.
Jesus.
He reached for me and missed.
Idiot.
I walked faster. He was behind me. But you kept walking. Okay. I broke into a run. He ran after me. Hey there, come back here.
You won a prize. I'm just trying to give it to you.
I had been stupid going out alone, but fortunately, unlike most people, I wasn't helpless.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes, do it, Rachel, yes! As I ran, I focused
hold on. Up till now, this is just telling women, like, you're stupid for going outside alone.
Yeah,
so
basically.
Yeah, you dumb bitches. How dare you step 2 feet outside
like,
of a school
like,
alone?
Just going out, like, literally she's just walking home alone, like, I should have done that.
From school to home.
Yeah, I was asking for
or
it.
the YMCA.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
I should have known this would happen.
I'm pretty sure the lesson is you're stupid for going out alone unless you're an Animorph.
Yeah. As I ran, I focused on something completely different.
I concentrated on an image in my mind. Then I felt the change begin. My legs grew thick, my arms grew bigger. I could feel myself growing large and solid. I felt the squirmy sensation of my ears becoming thin and leathery, but it wasn't enough to just look creepy. This guy had made me mad. I wanted to scare him half to death. My nose suddenly began to sprout then from my mouth like two huge spears. The tusks began to appear. I figured that was about enough. I broke my concentration, which stopped the morph. I stopped suddenly. The creep barreled right into me. He was not going to like what he was about to see.
And neither
I
will
retract
you.
everything I said before. It's great.
Here, Chris, you can...
we need
wait.
to borrow.
We have to borrow again. Quick, hurry.
Before someone
Wonderful
else
radio.
gets it.
But remember the
For
time
those
we
listening
couldn't
at
borrow the
home,
book because someone else was reading it?
That was horrible.
For those listening at home for the first time, like we have those, we borrow the books from an online library. Sometimes in the middle of reading, we have to borrow the book again, and too many times we go to borrow the book again, and someone else has borrowed the digital book, so then we're not allowed.
I do think it's only happened once, but that was too many times.
Yeah.
Once was too
All
many
right.
times.
He was not going to like what he was about to see.
You can go again, Chris, because that was...
Chapter 5. I wanted to tell the jerk to step off. What I wanted to say to him was, "Oh, so you still want to go for that ride?" What I really said was, the guy stopped dead. That was my piss poor elephant noise.
I think Zoom
what?
muted it. I didn't hear
I
anything.
didn't. Yeah.
He
But
just
it
stared.
sounded like you farted.
Yeah.
It sounded like it sounded like we. What I really said was.
Okay, well, I'll do a phonetic read of the onomatopoeia in the book then. What I really said was, "Here." It's written so bad. The guy stopped dead. He just stared. What he saw was me, halfway through morphing into an African elephant. I had about a third of a trunk and most of my
So did I.
like elephant ears. My legs were like stumps. My arms looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger's, only gray, and my tusks stuck about a foot out of my mouth. Just to make things extra weird, I still had my normal hair and normal eyes. Suddenly, the guy wasn't interested in hassling me.
I want from now on, whenever someone's like, "I'm horny," I want them to say, "I had about a third of a trunk."
All I'm saying is she's pretty lucky this wannabe rapist wasn't a fan of Babar.
She's pretty lucky he's not a poacher.
He-
That's way funnier than what I said. That's too obscure.
yeah, he
Are you still looking at the Animorphs Facebook?
Yes, it's full of Animorphs memes.
Oh my god.
rapist scrimshaw guy. He turned and he ran. For a minute, he forgot he even had a car. And then he turned around and jumped in through an open window. And he started the car and took off. He was definitely breaking the speed limit as he tore out of there. I concentrated again and began to reverse the morphing process, going back to human shape. I had been wearing a loose sweater and leggings, which were good. They had both stretched, but my shoes had been split open by the sudden growth of my elephant feet. And it had started raining, so the trip home was going to be very unpleasant. Oh, great, I muttered. I've got to remember to kick off my shoes before I morph into an elephant. Honk, honk. Then the second car pulled up and came to a stop. The window rolled down. Hey, Rachel. It was Melissa. I recognize that voice. Do you want to ride home?
Melissa.
She
Sorry,
didn't seem
just
very
looked at
excited by the idea. I looked through the car window past her. Chapman was behind the wheel. A wave of sick fear swept over me. Had he seen what I'd just done? And if he'd had, then I was dead, and my friends were dead. I'm fine, I said. I could use the exercise.
Nonsense, young lady.
Chapman said, sounding like his usual assistant principal self.
It's beginning to rain. Get in.
What was I supposed to do? I forced a smile. It wasn't easy. You should morph a smile. Thanks, I said. Melissa was in the front with her father. I sat in the back. I tried not to shiver. I tried not to stare at the back of Chapman's head. That's how it is when you're around a controller. You know the evil slug is right there in the controller's head, attached to all his nerve endings, controlling the human brain, dominating it. It's hard not to stare when you think of what is squeezed inside that skull. When we were stuck back at the red light, it looked like some guy was bothering you, Melissa said. Then he ran off. Was he bothering you? No. I lied. He was just picking something up, and he dropped by the side. He dropped by the side of the road. Pathetic! I was such a lame liar. I saw Chatman's eyes watching me in the rearview mirror.
Chatman.
He looked like normal old Chatman. That's the problem with controllers. There is no outward clue. They look so normal.
He went running off like the hounds of Hades were after him,
Chatman said. Did he? I said in a squeaky voice. I wasn't looking.
I guess it was the rain. That's probably why he was running. There, you can turn left there.
You're doing awful, Rachel.
She finished transforming back into Rachel. She doesn't sound like a squeaky elephant anymore.
No, I just mean like she's lying badly.
Oh, yes, she is. I know where you live, Chapman said. I almost swallowed my tongue. Was that a threat? Did he suspect? Did he guess? Was he looking at me strangely? Or was I just being paranoid? He pulled up in front of my house. My heart was hammering, but I was determined to act casual. Thanks for the ride, Mr. Chapman, I said. Hey, Melissa, I was totally serious about us getting together, okay? She nodded. Sure, Rachel, absolutely. I closed the car door behind me.
She hates you, Rachel.
I had escaped. I was alive. I'd probably just been imagining things. Then I heard Melissa call out to me. Hey, what happened to your shoes? I looked down. My shoes were in tatters, the result of my feet growing from a size 6 to a size 300 in about 5 seconds flat. See? I said as lately as I could, I told you I needed to go shopping.
That's pretty funny.
Melissa just looked puzzled. Her father stared at me with an expression I could not read. They're probably totally fine, and she's just acting like a fucking psycho.
Yeah, they're probably just like, what the fuck is
What's
wrong
with
her?
your friend?
Yeah.
I was shaking like a leaf when I walked into my house. I headed upstairs to my room and stuffed my ripped shoes into the trash. Only then did I go back downstairs to say hi to my mom.
I'm just imagining like the way she reacted when she was like, what's wrong with your shoes? She was just like, that's why we need to go shopping! Like, just like a psychopath.
Like all like terrified.
Yeah.
What gets me is just the tonal whiplash
Yeah.
of these books. Because like sometimes there is genuinely good jokes, and then other times it's just like, war is terrible. War never changes.
Yeah. It's just like it goes between
We've been
like
fighting this war for a long time.
like
I'm
Terminator,
a kid that can turn into a dolphin.
like Terminator machine against war against the machines level seriousness to like straight up body horror to then just like we're in high school.
Body horror. Hey, when do we wrap up? Just out of curiosity.
We can wrap up after this chapter if you want.
Okay, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
I gotta say goodnight to Lisa and all that shit.
Yeah.
I'm old.
You people don't understand the horrors of war. Have you ever ripped out someone's throat while in the body of a tree sloth?
Do you know how long it takes?
I was literally looking at the text like, where does it say that?
All right, so I go back downstairs and say hi to my mom. She was at the kitchen table, half hidden by a pile of buff-colored books. What's
What
buff-colored?
the fuck?
My mother's
Isn't
a
buff
lawyer.
just
Like
tan?
tan, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tan color.
That's just a
Okay.
weird thing to specify. You could just say books by
Yeah,
a
but,
pile of
like-
books.
The color of a file folder.
Weird.
My mother's a lawyer, and she brings work home a lot, and so she can be around me and my two little sisters.
So is that
She
just
and-
like the way of saying like lawyer books are boring?
Yeah.
They're buff colored.
Ugh.
She and my dad are divorced. I only get to see my dad a few days a month, so mom
Yeah.
feels guilty when she isn't there for us.
Oh, God.
Hi, honey. What should the mom voice? That doesn't matter. Hi, honey. She
No,
said.
he's the
then she got
typical.
her-
What is it? The cooking
Lawyer
lady.
mom.
Julia Child.
Julia Childs.
Hi, honey.
There you go.
She said. Then she got her suspicious mother look. How did you get home? You didn't walk, did you? You were supposed to call me. Melissa and her dad gave me a ride, I said. Well, it was the truth. Sort of. No, that is the
No,
truth.
it's the truth.
She relaxed and made a point of closing her book. Sorry, you know I worry about you. Where are Jordan and Sarah? They're in the family room watching another one of those scary shows. Of course, tonight Jordan will be sleeping with her nightlight on, and Sarah will end up in my bed, no doubt.
You're a bad
I
mom.
don't know why they like things that frighten them. You were never that way. It almost made me laugh. I felt like saying, well, Mom, maybe you shouldn't talk to your kids that way. I don't have to watch things that are scary. I am scary.
Jesus.
I'm the
Should have
best.
seen me a little while ago with tusks sticking out of my mouth and a 3-foot-long nose. What I really said was, so, what's for dinner?
My mother winced. Pizza, Chinese, anything else you can order over the phone? I'm keeping it going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I have this brief and I have a court in the morning. Could I do the other, like the daughter, like Jason Statham?
Sure.
Right. Mom, I told her for maybe the 1,000th time, I don't mind pizza. Sorry, but your cooking isn't all that great, so it's no big deal ordering pizza. Well, at least get some veggies on it, she said. And after dinner, I called Jake. You want to come over? I said. I've got that new CD. You want to listen to it? There was no CD, of course. It's just that we always have to be careful. Like I said, Jake's brother Tom is a controller. He could be listening in on the extension. Then I called Cassie and Marco and told them the same cover story. When they arrived, I told them about Melissa, and then I told them about my little run-in with the creep. I did not tell them about Chapman driving me home, and I don't know why. But when I saw the way Marco exploded, I was glad I hadn't told them the whole story. Oh, that was dumb! Dumb! Dumb!
Oh my
Marco
God.
said, what if that guy is a controller? He wasn't a controller, I said scornfully. Why would the Yicks want to make a controller out of a punk?
Oh God, I don't know if I can do a Jason Statham.
You don't have to. You can do anybody.
I mean, please try.
If I do
I don't
Jason
even know if
Statham,
I was doing a
it'll
good
be
one.
like Snatch Statham, where he talked so slowly.
Yeah,
Like,
if we're not trying to make each other laugh, then who is this even for?
they
Yeah.
want people in positions of power.
Ooh, you're like Jason Statham and what's his dick had a baby? Michael Caine.
Oh shit! Michael Statham.
Michael Statham.
Jason
I would
Caine.
watch the shit out of that show. I'm going to kill you off my plate.
We don't know for sure, Jake said. Tom isn't in a position of power. And how about people driving by in their cars or looking out of windows of their homes? Marco asked. And what if he runs and tells someone about this girl who suddenly sprouted a trunk and tusks?
Okay, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Is that a character from Venture Brothers? It's driving me fucking crazy.
Oh, God.
It sounds so familiar.
Probably.
No, it really is how our friend Mark
I mean, it
sounds.
is just how Mark sounds when he, like, does voices. But it could be Venture
But also,
Brothers.
like, all the time.
It's true. He's obnoxious. No one is going to... No one is going to believe a lowlife like that, I said. His friends won't believe him, Marco said poisonously. But a controller would believe him. A controller would know what it meant. Yes, a controller would know what it meant. A controller like Chapman, or even Melissa, if she was one of them. I felt sick.
Tracy Chapman.
It,
He's got a fast car.
I felt sick. It was like my whole life was nothing but lies. Lies to Melissa. Lies to my mother. Now I was lying by not telling the others the whole truth. Lies, 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 yeah. Okay, I screwed up, I muttered. You sure did, Marco crowed. You screwed up so... Marco, let it drop, Jake said. Rachel knows she made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Marco rolled his eyes. Cassie gave me an encouraging smile. It was dumb putting yourself in that position, Rachel. Jesus Christ, guys. She literally just walked home from school, alone.
Right? What the fuck?
It's insane.
Yeah, she almost got fucking raped. How are you mad that she turned into half an elephant?
What were you wearing, Rachel?
Gymnastic
Fuck
clothes.
these books, man.
Oh, Rachel, you need to be more careful. But still, I'd have paid my next 10 allowances to see the look on that guy's face. The important thing is that it doesn't sound like Rachel can use Melissa to get close to Chapman, Jake said. Not if she's a controller herself, and not if she's going to continue being weird to Rachel.
I think she just doesn't like Rachel anymore.
Yeah.
Friends drift apart, guys.
It happens.
I guess
Also, like when you smell like an elephant, people tend to avoid you.
I guess we'll have to find another way, I said quickly. I mean, we know where Chapman's office is. We know where his house is. Maybe we could just morph into some small animals and hide out. Small animals like what? Marco asked. When Jake turned into a lizard, he got stepped on and he lost his tail.
Wait, so it was like half his butt missing?
It's not how it works, Jonathan.
The look Bekah gave me just now was like, I don't know what to say to you right now.
I don't know. I don't have a response for that. Yes. Half his butt's
Half
missing.
his butt's missing?
Half his butt's missing.
Oh, they call him
never ever talk about it, but we all know.
He's got a flat butt now.
They call him Jake Half Butt.
He has to put a pillow under the missing half when he says.
Everything he does now is half-assed.
Besides, what are you going to morph into, a cockroach? We all shuddered at the thought. The smallest, strangest thing anyone had morphed so far was when Jake had done the lizard. It creeped him out big time. A roach would be even worse. The problem with being a cockroach, I said, aside from the fact that it is too gross to believe, is that roach senses might not even be useful to us. Can a roach hear in a way that would make it possible for us to understand what we're hearing?
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Do roaches even have ears?
Did they just get super high?
Oh, man.
We all looked at Cassie. She's sort of our expert on animals, as it was explained earlier. Cassie held up her hands. Oh, come on. Like I know how a cockroach sees and hears. We don't take care of roaches at the rehab clinic. We all sat there feeling glum for a minute.
Encyclopedia Britannica or whatever?
Right? Yeah.
Not everyone had those growing up. We all sat there feeling glum for a few minutes, but I wasn't going to let it drop. I mean, I had those. I wasn't. We were poor,
Don't
but
you
we were
high
poor.
road me.
We were poor because we had Encyclopedia Britannicas. My parents spent way too much money.
Chris is like, we were poor, but I was smart.
Yeah. My eldest siblings, I don't know if they had the encyclopedias, but I did, and I turned out TV. But I wasn't going to let it drop. This was about more than just striking a blow at the Yerks. I had to find out if Chapman suspected me. If he did, we were all in terrible danger. I happened to glance over at my desk. Ah, yes, I have a desk. There was my math homework, still not done. Ah, yes, I have math homework that's still not done. That didn't make me feel any better, but then I looked at the photos I had mounted in one of those big frames with 6 different holes. You know the kind. One was of me with my mom and dad on a whitewater rafting trip we took. One was of me visiting my dad at his job. He's
Does
a
she have
weatherman on
ADHD?
TV.
I looked at my desk. I looked at my homework. I looked at some pictures. Oh, remember that whitewater rafting trip? What was going on?
My dad's a weatherman.
We're fighting the
Yeah,
Yerks.
weatherman on TV. We were
what?
grinning in front of a map. Oh, you didn't hear that part? One
No,
was
no,
of
he
me
was talking.
visiting my
Keep
dad
talking.
at his job. He's a weatherman on TV. We were grinning in front of a map of storms. Another picture was of Cassie and me riding horses side by side with Cassie as usual, looking like she'd spent her entire life in the saddle and me looking like a total dweeb.
A Map of Storms, that George R.R. Martin book.
But the picture that got my attention was one taken a couple of years ago of Melissa and me. I got up and went over to take the frame down. I stared hard at the picture. What? Jake asked. What is it?
Take us home, Jason.
All right, here we go. It's me and Melissa, I said. It was like her 12th birthday or some birthday anyway, and we were out on our lawn playing with a present her dad gave her. So what? Marco asked. So I passed him the photograph. It showed me and Melissa in shorts, and between us, a small black and white kitten. So her present was a cat.
Wait, why are we saying oh?
Because
Just that she can turn into the cat?
because she's a cat on the cover.
Yeah.
So she's
It
gonna
was
turn into a
actually
cat to like
relevant.
infiltrate their
Cover
house.
cat.
Right.
Cover cat, you guys.
Oh, I don't.
You know-
It was like a big reveal.
I forgot there was a cat on the cover.
Well, I think they're going to use
I'm just waiting
her turning
for-
into
I'm
the
just
cat
waiting-
that she's touched that she'll be able to sneak into the house.
I'm excited for the Catch So Sweet thermals.
Oh boy, Animorphs. Am I right?
Sometimes.
All right. Well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for reading with us, especially on such a short notice.
Sure. I have nothing else going on. I cleaned all day. The house is clean. Now I can die.
Might as well. Read some teenage body horror.
Exactly.
And to the listener, oh boy, Animorphs, are we wrong? Let us know at
Oh, I'm so sorry.
no email address whatsoever because we don't want to hear from you.
We do have an email address. It's what is it, Chris?
Poop@p.com.
I do not remember.
I think it's
Top is.
I think
Cactus Rodeo?
I think it's podcast@cactusrodeo.com. I think it's that.
Not are you.
No, I think it's
Not are you?
I think it's
Podcast.
podcactus. Oh God, I don't know. Just look it up.
It's been a week.
It's been a
Say
week,
it again,
guys.
gang.
Jason,
If
do you have
someone-
anything? Anyone listening, you want them to know about you?
Anything to plug
Plug
to our listener?
to
Who are
our
you
sole
talking
listener. You.
Oh, me. I was on a tested video a couple days ago, and it's gotten like 90,000 hits or some fucking crazy shit.
A what video?
Tested at the Adam Savage sponsored.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I got interviewed for my X-Wing. Hooray!
Well, why the fuck would we want to plug that? It's got 90,000 views. You should have plugged us on that one.
Weird. I'll plug you guys. Yeah, sorry. Do I have any plugs?
Oh man, he plugged it on this one. They got 90,001.
Hot mustard Dorito and Weller Green Label.
We're going to Outback on Sunday.
Going to Outback on Sunday.
Meet us there.
Shout out to my steak eaters. Woo woo.
Yeah, check us
Give a
down.
shout out to Valley View Farms for making my mother so goddamn happy a weekday.
Oh boy.
It's so funny. She was in her element, just sort of toddling around, like, "Do you know where the jasmine trees are?" And the lady was like, "What an excellent question." And I was like, "I don't want time."
You're like it's been the same. My whole life it's been the same.
Right? I'm like, I'm in the fabric store and I turned 50 in September.
Recently she said to me something about what the fuck was that place we Homestead Farms, which was just the place we went to like when we lived in Annapolis. She was like, I miss Homestead Farms, and I was just thinking, I don't.
Oh.
Just fucking so bored every time we went there, except for the one time our brother Anthony fell in the pond. That was funny.
This is very
Did he
specific.
really?
It's very-
Inside baseball to your
It's super.
family.
Yeah.
Jonathan, was he horsing around?
Oh, 1,000,000,000%. He was
Oh
like,
my God, I don't know about this. Where was I? Was I off like?
oh, you were like a young adult. You were like out of the house.
I was young adulting at the
You're
time.
probably crying into a microphone somewhere.
Probably.
And they, you know, like giant ponds places have, and they have like lilies and shit in them. So Anthony was like, our brother Anthony was like crouched on the side of this pond and reaching in. I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't
Grab a
remember
fish.
that part. Probably trying to grab a fish. He just like reached in too far and slipped, and he fucking fell in. That's amazing.
So great.
Oh, that was great. Best day of my
So
life.
mom, let me guess. Mom was more mad that the car seat was going to get wet than anything else.
That's
I would have been.
so. If I remember right, this is one of the few times I do think whenever she like will tell a story and she'll be like, I wasn't mad, I was just laughing, and then I think like, no, you were mad, you weren't laughing,
You were furious.
You were so mad. This was one of the few times I feel like she actually was laughing. I don't remember her being mad. I think she was just like Anthony.
My favorite Anthony story is when he walked around to the front of Graham's house, squatted, and took a shit. Like
He was 42 years old.
no, he was like, I don't know, he was too old to do it. But I think he was a toddler.
Holy shit.
I can't remember. Like, did somebody see him do it or something?
Chris, do you have any good Anthony stories?
I if I met the guy at the wedding, I don't remember.
You probably
It's
did.
boring.
He's
Fair
too
enough.
busy in Europe right now. Is this
Yeah.
getting? Please tell me you're excising all this.
Yeah, you've got to cut this
I'll
out.
cut this out. Yeah.
All right.
This is very inside baseball.
Inside Eden.
Inside Eaton. Well, that wraps up the Inside Eaton hour. Yay! Yeah, thanks for being on. Anyone listening? If anyone's listening, cactusrodeo.com. Listen to this show and the sketchy show, and watch Pop Suck at Theater and read my comics. That's it.
Do it.
That's it. The end.
Yeah.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.